Hi, my name's Alan Vincent. Thanks for taking time to watch this presentation. First and foremost, the presentation is about deception. Not only will we discuss the deception at work in the world today, but also reveal the greatest deception in all of history. A conspiracy that makes all other conspiracies pale into insignificance. This conspiracy was revealed thousands of years ago. It will most certainly affect every human being on the planet. No one will be able to plead ignorance in future because we've already been warned. Not only has this conspiracy been revealed in great detail, but we are also told what we have to do to avoid becoming its victims. The book that reveals this great deception makes it very clear that in the near future, the earth will be moving into the most perilous times in all of history, and that it will be much worse than anything we can imagine. But before we look ahead, we have to briefly go back in history to see if we can learn anything from it. History is likely to give us clues as to what the future will look like. It's a bit like studying the weather. We have to look back at the weather patterns in the past in order to predict the future as accurately as possible. I'm going to briefly discuss now some of the major events that have occurred in our recent history. You know, we're very future-minded, always thinking about tomorrow and what we want from life. But if we don't take time to learn from the past, we're probably doomed to repeat the same mistakes in the future. Let's now go back then into recent history and see what we're going to discover. I'm going to go back and have a look at dictators who killed people throughout history. Each red drop on this chart represents the death of 1 million people. We'll start on the left by Yakubu Gowon of Nigeria, 1966 to 1975, who killed 1.1 million people. Followed by Mengistu Haile Mariam of Ethiopia, 1974 to 1991, who killed 1.5 million people. Kim Il-sung of North Korea, 1948 to 1994, kills 1.6 million. Pol Pot of Cambodia, 1963 to 1981, kills 1.7 million people. Ismail Enver Pasha of Turkey, 1913 to 1919, kills 2.5 million people. Hideki Tojo of Japan, 1941 to 1944, kills 5 million. Leopold II of Belgium, 1865 to 1909, kills 15 million people. Adolf Hitler of Germany, 1934 to 1945, kills 17 million people. Joseph Stalin of the Soviet Union, 1922 to 1953, kills 23 million people. And Mao Zedong, China, 1943 to 1976, kills 78 million people. 78 million people through slave labor. Now, I came across this website which details wars and casualties in the 20th and 21st centuries. I'm only going to start at 1860, which is the USA Civil War, and we're going to move down until we see, of course, World War I, where 20 million people were killed. Then we move down to World War II, where 55 million people were killed, including Holocaust and Chinese Revolution victims. And we can just keep going. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. What we can clearly see is that mankind has got a very bloody history, exceptionally bloody. We have the opposite of peace in the world. We have war. We're constantly at war with one another, and that's because, you know, it's human nature to want what we want. We kind of want everything for ourselves. We want to be in power. We want to be in control, and otherwise wars would not exist. You know, war exists because we disagree, or we want the mineral wealth of a nation. We're not satisfied with what we have, or because we have shortages of something. We want to go and invade another country to take what they've got, or we want to benefit economically from the resources that we plunder from another country. This is just ancient history now. It happens all the time, and it's happening in the world today. As I said at the beginning of this video, this presentation is all about exposing the greatest deception in history. This is not a conspiracy theory, but an actual conspiracy designed to deceive every man, woman, and child on the planet. The problem with deception is that it's very, well, how can I put it, deceptive. Deception is designed to fool you. Deception also usually contains large doses of truth that disguises the underlying deceit. For example, think about the small print in a contract. This can have the effect of hiding the true nature of what is being agreed between contracting parties. But the greatest form of deception is often something that is hidden in plain sight. Let's have a look at a few examples of this. We're going to play a quick game. I'm going to test your powers of perception. You're about to see 6 examples of how effective camouflage can be. Camouflage is the art of hiding something in plain sight. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to figure out what is hiding in each scene before I reveal the answer. Okay, ready to get going? Right, let's start. Here's scene 1. Okay, you may have seen this buck in the middle of the picture, but did you spot the one at the top right? Here's the next scene. Well, if you didn't see this one in about 5 seconds, you're dead by now. This is a hunter standing on a platform strapped to a tree, and he's using a lethal crossbow. Here's the next example. Okay, I'm not sure if you spotted the little bird on the right over here. Right, here's the next example. Well, this buck is very well hidden in this picture. Right, moving on to the next one. Well, if you didn't spot him, here's our little furry friend. Okay, let's now look at the last example. Right, here we have a giraffe hiding in plain sight. Well, I hope you got all 6 right. Now I'm going to show you a short video that not only illustrates how danger can be hidden in plain sight, but also how people can ignore impending danger even when they're being warned that something serious is about to happen. After this video, we'll discuss what is called the normalcy syndrome or the normalcy bias. But let's watch the video first.
津波警報が発令されます。今、随分沖の方も水が引きました。海の水が随分引いてます。早く避難してください。避難してください。 水が引いてます。나는 리브 시죠.
하나?
응, 한생. 아, 요새 이만 기다. 그나 너무 기다. 기다. 응. 막 쓰드 같네. 느리냐. 오, 津波が来ましたので注意してください。お、津波が来ました。お、津波が来ましたので注意してください。直ちに避難してください。大きい棒は手をこいでます。大きい棒は手をこいでます。ああ、すごいすごいすごい。あれだ。いやいや、なってもかってもあれだ。なっても、いや、すごいすごいすごい。いやいやいやいやいや。うわー、ダメだダメだ。いやいやいやいやいやいや、地獄だ地獄。すごいぞー、来たぞー。来たぞー、右のよ。おー、津波だー、来たぞー。うわー、こっち来た。あー、我が家のあれも終わりだ。何うわー、すごいすごいすごいすごいすごいすごい。うわー、すげえ。スキントあるよ。おー、いやーいや。あ、よし。いやいやいやいやいやいやいや。おー、すごい。なってもあれだ。地獄だー。すごいすごいすごいすごいすごい。いやいやいやいや、すごいぞー。わー、これだこれだこれだこれだこれだ。バカだこの、こな。クリア。いやいやいやいやいや、すごいすごいすごいすごい。あー、これだー。あー、ダメダメダメダメ。うわー、すごいすごいすごい。あれだ。いやいやいやいや。まもかもね。地獄だ地獄。いや、すごいな。おう、あ、ここも崩れからな。うわー、すごいすげえすげえすげえすげえすげえ。うわー、すげえ。ほにほにほに。なっても終わりだ。日がねえず来た、日がねえずねまだ。子供らじゃ学校来てるかな。これいや。右だっけ。右だっけ。この棒派でこれや。うわー、すごい。うわー、来た来た来た来た。なにこれいや。水以上だめだな。水の津波以上だ。水の津波以上だ。うわー、すごいすげえすげえすげえ。すげえ。水の津波以上だ。あー、どうだこれ、地方が。いや、まあな。おう、ああ。そうだね。はいはいはいはい。はい。おー、すげえ。いやいやいやいや。ここも危ねえ。
I'm going to talk about a phenomenon called the normalcy bias. One of the ways in which the normalcy bias manifests is that sometimes people hold a core belief that is very strong. When they're presented with evidence that works against that belief, the new evidence simply can't be accepted. It creates a feeling that is extremely uncomfortable, and it's called cognitive dissonance. And because it's so important to protect the core belief, they will rationalize, ignore, and even deny anything that doesn't fit in with the core belief. Now, this is of course a form of mental disconnection when faced with a situation that we don't know how to cope with. Another way in which we do this is, we rationalize by saying, I'm going to deal with this later on. I'm going to put it off till tomorrow. I'm just going to be happy today and not worry about the consequences until later on. We really put our head in the sand, literally. We're hoping that the problem's going to go away and that we don't have to deal with it, or that somebody else will deal with it. But of course, we know this didn't work, for example, for the Jews. We know what happened in Poland, various other parts of Europe, and of course, we often just don't learn from history. Now, some of the information you will be presented with throughout this video series may result in you experiencing cognitive dissonance. You may find that what you've always believed to be true may in fact not be the case. All I ask is that you keep an open mind and that you do your own research. By the time the tsunami arrives, it'll be too late. We have to pay attention to signs all around us that indicate that all is not well and that we're on the verge of imminent danger. It's time to pay attention and to look closely at what is being hidden from us in plain sight. The next video in this series is called The Man of Peace. In this video, I'm going to discuss the hidden agendas behind the whole world peace movement and reveal some of the shocking truths that are not obvious at first glance.